Our respect to the Triple Gem. Greetings, all the viewers of Global Buddhist Congregation Dhamma Discourse Program. Today we are in Chiang Rai, which is the northernmost province of Thailand. We travel 1 hour out of the city center of the province and closer to the Lao border to visit a forest monastery by the name of Wat Path Yen Bun in Chiang Rai district. The name Wat Pa already means in Thai as forest temple. We arrived at the temple early to pay respect to Venerable Puvadol Piyasilo, or he is best known as Phra Ajarn Jiew. Coming here early, we can feel the stunning morning mist and experience the beautiful scenery as well as absorbing the fresh air of the forest. This place is very nice and peaceful. May I say a few words to introduce Venerable Puvadol or Phra Ajarn Jiew. Phra Ajarn Jiew is originally from Mesai district, north of Chiang Rai province, next to Shan state of Myanmar border. Phra Ajahn Puvadol Piyasilo Bhikkhu is the Abbot of Wat Path Yen Bun. The Venerable was ordained at the age of 24 under Luangpor Chah lineage at a forest temple in Mukdahan province in the northeast of Thailand. At that time, he just graduated with a bachelor degree in communication arts from Chulalongkorn University, which is the oldest university in Thailand. In the early period of his ordination, he also received guidance from Venerable Chayasaro Bhikkhu, who is well-known forest monk in Thailand, originally from United Kingdom. Because of the significant contribution to Buddhism in Thailand, Venerable Chayasaro Bhikkhu has been offered the royal title of Pratepacharayan Muni by His Majesty King Rama X. But for our purpose, may I use the Bhikkhu name of Venerable Chayasaro in this video. With the recommendation of Venerable Chayasaro, Phra Ajahn Jiew went to stay at Chitta Vivek Temple in Chichurst, United Kingdom. Chitta Vivek Temple is also a temple within Luangpor Chah lineage in the United Kingdom. As we all know, Luangpor Chah was a very well-known meditation master from Ubon Ratchathani province and is well-known internationally for teaching many Westerners Buddhism. There are many Westerners who ordained under Luangpor Chah to practice the forest tradition and now living in many countries as well as in Thailand. Phra Ajahn Jiew has been a monk for about 26 years now. We are fortunate that today Phra Ajahn Jiew will share his experiences from the aspect of the forest monk on various subjects. Without further ado, I will give the microphone to him. Thank you very much once again. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
So I like to begin with the traditional ways of paying homage to the Buddha before the monk giving a talk, giving Dhamma talk. We usually start with paying homage to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang kunutarang upachayang namasami. So today we are here in Chiang Rai, Thailand. I'm staying here at Wat Path Yen Bun. My name is Phra Puvadol Piyasilo. Piyasilo is my Pali name. So I am the acting abbot of this monastery now. So today GBC Global Buddhist Congregation come to visit the place and invite me to share with you all some of my thoughts and understanding in terms of the Dhamma. So today the questions is about Katina. What is the Katina? What is the meaning of it and how we practice it in Thailand? Traditionally, after the rain retreat or Vasa, the lay people in Thailand usually like to come to the monastery to do the ceremony of offering robe that we call Katina. Literally, the names of the Katina, the word itself, come from the Pali word, means a wooden frame to make the robe for the monk. In the old days, the monk have to gather some rag cloth that people left on the side road or somewhere else, and then put it together into a robe to making a robe for the monk. So they need to have the wooden frame, so it make it easy to sew the robe together. So in Thailand, it is a ceremony that now we adopted to be part of the Buddhist culture here, that lay people comes and to the ceremony to offering something that could be useful for the monastery or support the monastery. Not only robe, but also other requisites that they could think of to offer the monk. It is very a special occasion because according to the Vinaya or monastic code, that the Katina period will last only 1 month after the rain retreat. So it's not the ceremony that we can do it all year round. So it limited only a month after the rain retreat. So we see it very special in this way. So many lay Buddhists would like to come. And in the spirit of it, if you look at the way that Katina was done in the Buddha time, it was a time that a robe is something that is not easy to find during that time. So the monks have to come together and help. And there's a time that when the Buddha is still alive, he himself came to the Katina ceremony. And the Buddha performed the duty, I don't know what they call in English, to put the thread into the needle. The Buddha has a good eyes. He has good eyes, so he can do this. And there was a time that they make the Katina robe for Phra Ajahn Chah. So this means that in doing Katina, we need to have people come together. We need to have cooperation of everyone in the community. So the Katina symbolizes the unities of the community when we have something that we have to do together. When I was a young monk, during this ceremony, every monk have to take part in it. If you're not good at sewing, you can do something else. I myself not very good at sewing, so at that time I offering drinks and juice for the monk who do the sewing. So in this way I have my part, or I help them draw the line to make the Katina robe. So this is the idea of how we are doing the Katina together. For me, this is the spirit of it. But now, as you know, when it becomes tradition, sometimes we perform a ceremony without understanding the real meaning of it. So the main focus for Katina ceremony now sometimes focus on the money or the donation that can gather from the ceremony. But the spirit of it as I said, is about the unity of the community, the cooperation. So if we could find the Katina ceremony that become meaningful, is a ceremony that everyone come together and join hand, doing something that they could do to contribute to the ceremony. The ideal ceremony for Katina is, for me, is that everyone have their role. Like in the Buddha time, that making just one robe, every monk in the monastery take part in it, share. Even it might not be so beautiful or professionally done, but that is the spirit of the Katina robe. So I think this is very, very important. And also it's a time, in the occasion that people come together and listen to the Dhamma talk. Many people said to me that different kinds of learning the Dhamma, because usually when we talk about Dhamma practice, we usually focus on sitting meditation, walking meditation, or formal practice. But in Katina ceremony is another kinds of Dhamma practice that we have to come together, working together, which means that each of us has to let go our own preference, let go of our idea, so we can work together. In this monastery, we used to have a Katina also, that I remember that there's some argument over how we can do the flower arrangement. Because when people come together, people have different idea, different tastes, different opinions over things. But when it becomes the Katina ceremony, the ceremony that we aim for making merit or doing something good together, we learn to let go of our own preference easier. Even we have something that we disagree with each other, that it is something that we can let go. So even that we have people who have different tastes, different ideas of doing flower arrangement, but when they come together and try to put things together, it might not be perfect, it might not be as beautiful as someone can do it by themselves, but you can't, let's say that it's not beautiful. The sense of beauty in this case comes from the idea of letting go of our own ideas and then putting things together. I think this is a very good simile of how we can work together in the modern world. Because now you can see that when people working together, we usually have problem with different idea, different opinion, and people tend to grab their own idea, their own opinion so much that when someone disagrees with that, they get annoyed or angry with that. But in fact, if we put the effort together to make the work done, or putting the goal as the outcome that we want to do together, that should be the most important, not only our own opinion. If we can learn to let go of our own opinion, we can find happiness in working together. It might not be as good or as we expected it to be, but who say that it's not so good? Because that, for me, the beauty of when people putting the work together, you can see the beauty of the living in harmony, or the beauty of cooperation. So this is what I like to share with you about the Katina. Here at Wat Path Yen Bun, we are living our life as a forest monk. We are inspired by Ajahn Chah tradition, the lineage of Ajahn Chah, that want the monk to try to practice in the way that it used to be in the Buddha time. You have to remember that the Buddha himself, our teacher, our great teacher, was born in the forest. He got enlightened practice in the forest, and eventually he passed away under the tree. So As a Buddhist monk, we follow the Buddha path. So this is a way that we can try to put ourselves into the situation that could be similar to the Buddha time. Living in nature, it might not be easy. It can be difficult. Like this place, we have no electricity, and we have no Wi-Fi access. We don't have a very stable mobile signal. So, but I lived my life here for more than 20 years. But it doesn't seem to be a big problem. But it also helped me a lot in terms of finding my own inner peace, my own happiness, and practice to my ability to be with myself, which is very important in this modern time. If you look at your life, in your daily life, you could ask yourself that how much time that you can really be with yourself without relying on external condition or external thing at all. How much time that you can find your own happiness without anything from external. Sometimes people will be shocked to see that it's very rare indeed that they can have the time to be with themselves. Why is it so important to have time with yourself? Because that when you have your time with yourself, you have your opportunity to see your own mind clearer. So this is the aims of we practice from the Buddhist teaching. Because the mind plays important roles in our life, the way that we create happiness or suffering for ourselves, it depends a lot on the mind. The more we understand ourselves, the more we understand our own mind, the more we can find happiness, the more we can live our life in a way that we can find meaningful because we understand about our own life. So this is a more important one. Ajahn Chah offers this tradition for the new generation to taste it by putting their life into practice and see how it works for you. Living in nature, it means that your life becomes simpler. You cut off something that is not so necessary in your life. At the beginning, it might be a bit difficult, but after for some time, you start to see that what is really important, what is not so important in our life. So the ideas of the forest monk living in the forest is to follow the teaching of the Buddha and try to put ourselves into the situation that similar to the monk in the Buddha time. In our tradition, we still do the arms round every morning, which means that we get up quite early, doing our chanting, doing some sitting meditation, and after that, around 6 o'clock, we walk from the monastery to the village nearby. Usually the forest monastery located quite a bit far away from the village. For us here at Wat Path Yen Bun, it's about 3 kilometers from the village nearby. So we walk to the village every morning for alms round. There are people will be waiting to offering food for us every morning. Here we don't have to cook extra food. There's no need to have kitchen at all, because that the food that people provide us, offer us during the alms round is more than enough every morning. So in this way, we follow the Buddha path that the life of bhikkhu, in one way that bhikkhu means that the one who bake, but we're not baking for like other baker that you see on the street, but we do it in our own way. We walk to the village, let people know that we are coming, and if people are ready to offer or contribute something, they can do. And if they're not ready, they're not forced to do so. This is the spirit of alms round. people are free to do it or not. They can choose by themselves. But for me, this is a very interesting tradition, and then it can be fruitful too, both in terms of the lay people and the monk themselves. For the monk themselves, the opportunity that we can walk every morning to the village and to see the people waiting to support us, give us some inspiration and also give us some moral support that what we are doing is worth for supporting. That's why people would like to support us, and that we can see it in term, very clearly in terms of putting food into our bowl. And also for the lay side, this is a way that they can see the monk, the samana, every morning. They can start the day with giving, practice generosity that bring up happiness for themselves. So it's the idea that the monk provide opportunity for the lay people to practice their generosity and develop, generate the happiness from giving. But the monk also practice the feeling, the developments of gratitude toward the lay people that offer us something. And we can see it clearly every morning that our life as a monk depends on the generosity of people. Our life is blessed by the giving of others. So it inspires us in a way that how we can spend our life in a better way, or how we can live our life as good as we can do in the best possible way. So both can benefit from each other. So this is the life of the Buddhist monk in forest tradition in Thailand. And after alms round, we came back, and there will be the time that we can practice meditation, or some people like to read the Dhamma, and they can do so during the daytime. And in the afternoon, we usually have the time that we come together to do the chore time, cleaning, clearing the place, sweeping the leaf, and then we will have tea time together. Tea time is an opportunity that all the monks, all the residents in the monastery come together, and we can have informal conversation. It can be discussed about the Dhamma, the practice. The senior monk can use this opportunity to tell story or to teach something in informal way. And after that, in the evening, we gather again for the evening chanting, and then another sessions of sitting meditation together. And sometimes the senior monk give Dhamma talk, and that's it. We end the day at night doing meditation, and then go to sleep, and then start the new day again at the early morning. So this is the life of the forest monk in forest tradition. So I'd like to share some of my thought about metta meditation, because usually when people talk about meditation, we usually think about the way that we can calm down our mind, try to focus our mind on one particular object, try not to think about anything else, and to find inner peace. That's the way, one way of practice meditation. But in metta meditation or metta bhavana is another way that you can use your thought, your thinking mind, in terms of helping the mind to calm down and also generate the positive feeling from thinking. Traditionally, we start metta meditation by thinking about our loved one, someone that we can think of, and it comes automatically in terms of expressing good wishes. So metta is meaning that you have good wishes for that person. You want the person to be well, to be happy, to be free from suffering. So you can repeat this inside your mind during your meditation and thinking about your loved one. And then from that, you can see it from yourself that there's a positive feeling arise in the mind. This is a wholesome feelings of metta. This is what we aim for. And we can develop this by expand it, try to sustain it by keep thinking about other people, that they are worth for sharing metta feeling. Thinking about your friends, your co-workers, the people that you know, especially those who know that they are suffering from their problem, whether it's become physical problem or mental problems, facing with difficulties in life, thinking about those people and wish them well. So if you have this good wish from your own heart, you generate the feeling of metta to arise in your mind. Once you practice and you are familiar with it to some level, and then once you have the feelings of metta arise in your mind become happy. It develops further into what in Pali called pramod, joy, and piti, the happiness, the true, the sense of being blessed. And from this, it can lead to the calmness of the mind or samadhi. So it's a way that you can practice meditation by using your thinking mind in a way that you can generate positive feeling. I myself find this is very useful for my own practice and like to offer this to you to give it a try. So you can see it from yourself by putting into your practice. When you meditate and your mind is become restless, your mind is full of thought, or you find it not easy to develop concentration, you can spend some time to start to do metta meditation for maybe a few minutes or maybe 10 minutes, and then continue with your normal meditation. You can see that there's some change in it. So this is what I like to share with you about metta meditation. I like to talk a little bit more about living one life as a Buddhist monk. The aims of this practice is to follow the teachings of the Buddha to liberate ourselves from our own suffering. When we bow to the Buddha image, bear in mind that we're not bowing to the object, the external object, because that you can ask yourself that was it the Buddha image as an object got from your bow? The object doesn't seem to get anything from you, right? But the person that will get the most of it will be you yourself who bow. So what is the meaning of bowing to the Buddha image? When you do bowing to the Buddha image, it's not bowing to the external object, whether it made from wood or metal. It's just like when you look at your screen on your mobile phone. You're not looking at the object, right? You are looking for the content of it, the contents in on the screen that you are reading or watching. So in this way, when you bow to the Buddha image, you also bow to the content of it. What is the contents of the Buddha image? The Buddha himself is a human being that can develop himself to or liberate himself from all kinds of suffering. So the Buddha image is a symbol that helps us to see this is the ultimate goals of human being, that we can develop ourselves to that goal, free ourselves from all kind of suffering. And the Buddha himself I got enlightened as human being. This is very important. Or his disciple, the great disciple, become enlightened as human being. This is very important for us, because we ourselves as human being, we share this capacity of the Buddha and or the great disciple of the Buddha. So when we bow to the Buddha image, we remind ourselves that we ourselves has this opportunity, has this capacity to develop ourselves, to liberate ourselves. Yes, we might not be able to do it now, today, but tomorrow. If we cannot do tomorrow, we can do the next day, next week, next year, or next life. But we have this capacity, the potential that we can be like the Buddha is inside us. So this is very important that we see this, we see the value of this, we see the value of our own potential. So if we really understand this, we are ready to put our effort in following the Buddha path. It might not be easy because in terms of practice, you have to go against the stream. So when going against the stream is not easy, it's not like following the stream. But if you see that this is the way that you can develop yourself to your full potential, it's worth giving your full effort into it. I myself see in this way that after being a monk for more than 20 years, 25 years, I still see the values of putting effort into following the Buddha teaching. Yes, and I can see that it might be difficult for many people, all of you now, to be refrained from something you like to do, to try to control your mind, try to limit yourself in terms of sensual pleasure, but try to see it in a way that this is a way that you can develop yourself. See the fruit of it is something that you will be proud of it, or you'll be happy to follow this one. You can ask all the great monks, or those who accomplish something from the practice, that if they look back into the practice, if there are any regret at all in terms of difficulties in the practice, I believe that all of them will say no, there's no regret about practice this following the Buddha path. Even it's not easy. I myself, when I was a young monk, I find it very, very difficult, very challenging for me. I used to be a city boy before. Coming to live my life as a forest monk is very difficult, and there's a lot of things that I have to adjust or to adapt myself or to practice, to learn. But then when I look back at it, I think that I have no regret about it. If I were going to choose the same path again, I'm going to do the same thing. So I like to share with you this one, that yes, this path might not be easy. This path might not be full of sensual pleasure that people usually expect it from, but the fruit of it is something that valuable, and it be useful for your life in terms of finding your own true happiness in life. So I like to express my appreciation for your effort in terms of Dhamma study and putting Dhamma into practice. So may all your effort be fruitful, and you can find your own happiness and joy in the practice. So I share with you my Anumodana. Yatha varivaha pura paripurenti sakarang evamewa ito tinang petanang upakapati ichitang pachitang tumhang kipamewa samichatu sapphe purentu sankapa จันโทปนรโสยะถามณิโชติรโสยะถาสัพพิติโยวิวัตชันตุสัพพโรโควินัสตุมาเตภวัตวันตรายโยสุขีทีคายุโกภวะอภิวาทนาสีลิสนิจังวุธาปจายโนจตารโอธรรมาวัฏันติอายุวันโนสุขังภะลัง
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much, Venerable Puvadol Piyasilo or Phra Ajarn Jiew. Your Dhamma talk on various topics are very useful. The information about Katina ceremony is very beneficial for us to learn about the forest tradition as far as Katina ceremony is concerned. We can understand the meanings of various activities involving the Katina ceremony, both for the Bhikkhu Sangha and for the lay Ubasaka and Ubasika. Also, the information on the daily routine of the forest monks give us the understanding of the practices in which the goal is to follow the Buddha teachings, and ultimately each monk has to practice and walk the path as taught by the Buddha. Buddhism emphasizes love, tolerance, compassion, and gentleness. The practice of loving kindness and compassion is important to practice as a habit. Thank you for the valuable information that you find importance being ordained as a bhikkhu in the forest tradition, on the experiences as a Buddhist monk who ordained to spread the teachings of the Buddha and to lead the ultimate spiritual goal to end the rebirth in this samsara. On the final note, may I repeat what the Venerable said, that it may not be easy because we are going against the stream. So going against the stream may be difficult, but it is worth it to give our full efforts to walk the path as taught by the Buddha. We hope to have a chance to come back to visit this forest monastery or Wat Path Yen Bun in the future. So, once again, thank you very much, Venerable. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
you.